Welcome to International Schooling. Here at International Schooling, we believe that each student is unique and deserves a well-tailored plan suited to their needs. Hi, I'm your teacher at International Schooling, Meru, and today we are going to be learning Grade 9 Physics according to the American curriculum, Module 1, Lesson 5. Module 1 is our world in motion, and Lesson 5 focuses on graphing data. So, when I think of graphs, I think of an x-axis, a y-axis, and some squiggly lines. Okay, so a graph is much more than that. First, we need to pick a graph paper. This is my personal favorite, called the. So why I enjoy this specific type is because you clearly have indications of measurement. So these first 5 squares represent 1 centimeter, or it can represent whatever you want to. The second type of graph paper is the dotted lines. So with the dotted lines, it becomes a lot easier if you want to do graphs that have more writing on them. Again, it's up to you to choose. When you have a graph, usually you're taking and, inputting from a table. And when you look at the table, that will give you a clear indication of what you need on your graph. For example, values that you see on the left side of the graph, or if you have a horizontal graph, if you see it at the top, those are your x-axis values, also known as your independent variable. So you have your x-axis and your y-axis variables. With your y-axis variables, you'll take it from the second part of the table, and that will always be the order. In this case, we have a force versus stretch type of graph where we're going to measure how much this rope can stretch based on the amount of force we apply on it. Okay, so some graphing techniques. I'm going to use my graphing paper, my favorite type. When you do a graph, you need to first draw your axes. So you draw your axes. It's nice to indicate it with an arrow as such. Y-axis, x-axis. Okay, once you have these, it's nice. It's not super necessary, but I love doing this, labeling them X and Y. Sometimes visual representation can really help you. Then label the X and Y axis. So remember what I said, okay? When we have these techniques, we need to be able to understand what they are asking of us exactly. So we want to talk about force versus stretch. So we can label this. Now, when we label the axes, always start from the x-axis, like this. Force. And once you write it, also indicate the unit of measurement. Indicating unit of measurement is very important because if you do not do this, then we can assume any unit of measurement. Which we don't want to do, okay? And with stretch, we'll have that on the y-axis. And the unit of measurement. So my writing is awful, but please remember to type centimeters, meters, whatever it is. Okay. Right. Once the labeling is done, you can now work on the scale. Now, when you draw your scale in, always start at the origin point, 0. Now, when you have values, your x-axis scale and your y-axis scale can be completely different as long as the values are always corresponding. So maybe I can have my force in ones. I can have my stretch counter in fives. It doesn't matter if the scales are different, as long as you match the values up with x and y, they correspond to each other. Okay. So let's say with a force of 1, it's 1 Newton, it stretches 5 centimeters. With a force of 2, it stretches 10 centimeters, and so on and so forth. When you draw your line, do not connect the dots where it's broken lines like that, it's not professional.